Have you ever noticed how certain conversations feel strangely exhausting, like you are speaking a different language or moving at a different speed, and people subtly pull back when you go deeper, not louder, just deeper, and it leaves you wondering if something is wrong with you, when in reality psychology suggests something else entirely, because when your brain processes the world with more connections, more layers, and more nuance, it can quietly place you outside the comfort zone of most people. This is not about superiority or ego. It is about cognitive mismatch. Research shows that intelligence often creates friction, not because you think you are better, but because you perceive more and faster, and that difference can feel uncomfortable to others, even when you are trying to connect. One sign is that your mind rarely settles on the surface of things. Your brain automatically links ideas, memories, emotions, and outcomes. Psychologists call this high associative thinking, where one thought activates many others at once, which means you are rarely satisfied with simple answers while others stop at what happened. Your brain asks why, how, and what it leads to, and that depth can look like overthinking, when in reality it is your brain doing what it does best, building a fuller picture. Another sign is that you notice patterns in people before they notice them in themselves. Research on emotional intelligence shows that some brains are better at decoding micro-behaviors, tone shifts, and inconsistencies. You hear the words, but your brain tracks intention, timing, and emotional subtext, which is why certain interactions feel off, even when nothing obvious is wrong. And this ability can make others uneasy, because they sense they are being seen more clearly than they are comfortable with. You may also find that solitude feels restorative rather than lonely. Studies show that highly intelligent individuals often prefer fewer but more meaningful interactions because constant social input interrupts deep thought. Your brain generates stimulation internally, ideas, reflections, inner dialogue, which means silence feels productive, not empty. And when others interpret this as antisocial, psychology explains it as a preference for cognitive autonomy. Another sign is that you instinctively question rules, traditions, and accepted norms, not to rebel, but to understand. Intelligent brains are wired for critical evaluation rather than automatic acceptance. Neuroscience shows that higher cognitive flexibility makes it harder to accept something simply because it is familiar, and this can frustrate people who rely on structure for comfort. Because your questions expose weak foundations they would rather not examine. You might also struggle to find people who truly match your curiosity. Research on intellectual compatibility shows that when cognitive depth differs significantly, conversations feel shallow or rushed. You want to explore ideas, emotions, systems, and possibilities, while others want quick exchanges. And this mismatch is not arrogance, it is unmet stimulation. Your brain seeks challenge, not validation. When you speak, you often pause, analyze, and refine before words leave your mouth. Psychology calls this inhibitory control and predictive thinking. Your brain runs simulations of outcomes, consequences, and interpretations in seconds, which can make you seem reserved or distant, while in reality, you are simply choosing precision over impulse. You are likely highly self-critical as well. Metacognition, the ability to think about your own thinking, allows you to see flaws clearly. This does not make you weak, it makes you aware. And research shows this trait is common among intelligent individuals because growth requires discomfort, and awareness often comes before confidence. Finally, you tend to value truth over approval. Studies on authenticity show that people with higher cognitive independence prioritize accuracy and integrity, even when it costs social ease, and that honesty can unsettle others because it resists conformity. So if people tell you that you are too much, too quiet, too intense, or too different, psychology suggests you may simply be operating on a deeper frequency, and that is not a flaw. It is a strength that deserves protection, not shrinking. If this perspective resonated and helped you understand yourself more clearly, subscribe for psychology-grounded insights that turn confusion into clarity and remind you that depth was never the problem.